Hey everybody, welcome to the Shift Show. Here we go again, right? I got some conversations that got started and some questions asked about, hey, how do we deal with purifying water? These days it's super important to get clean water. I don't really trust the stuff coming out of the tap, and depending on where you live in the U.S., they're actively fracking poisonous material into the ground, in your community, into the subwaters, and that's all due to that Ohio train. And also, I don't know how familiar you guys are with that story, but if you really want to dive on a rabbit hole, which is worth some understanding, is that a little while back we had a train crash. It derailed. The big irony was a year before the train crash, they released a movie about the train crash in the exact same city that the train crash happened in. And on top of that, the people that live in the city were extras in the movie about the train crash. So what's the big deal about the train crash? Well, number one, it shows the collapsing infrastructure in the United States, unless it was a terrorist attack, but who knows? I'm not going to jump to that conclusion. But the things I do know about it, though, is that the train and that rail system and all of that stuff in that train was for polyurethane creation. And so it's a lot of super nasty, toxic chemical stuff. And so what they did was they went and they, because it was spilling out in the water. So they set it on fire, made it go airborne. So then it can go in the air and spread farther around and then come back down as the toxic chemicals that it is, because it's heavy chemicals. So that's always a lot of fun. Guess who owns the train? BlackRock. Guess who owns the media companies that aren't talking about it? BlackRock. If you don't know who BlackRock is one of the world's, I think it is the world's largest investment company that owns a little bit of everything. And it's just kind of really insane. One of the guys that I like to pay some attention to is an analyst that used to work there. And he quit working there because he couldn't live with himself anymore for the evil and craziness that they were doing. So back to water purification. One of the things to think about when we're looking at water purification is we have to look backwards in time, right? We got to look at what did they used to do before they had running water and all these other things. I mean, we've been having to deal with water purification for who knows how many thousands or tens of thousands of years. So one of the things that I really like was when I was down south, I used to see they'd put together water jugs, and in the water jugs, it would be like a glass jar. And then the glass jar would have sand, and then it would have a cloth, and then they'd put in some rocks, more sand type of thing, and they'd have this layering system. And then they'd just fill it with water and run their water through it, and that's how they got the clean water out of it. Around my house, I used ionized water. When you buy ionized water at the store, you can't re-pH the level of your body with water. The only way you can adjust the pH in your body is standing barefoot on the ground. You have to do grounding to actually readjust the pH in your body. So these concepts and crappy advertising and marketing, and here again, our food supply actively trying to kill us, and they're just constantly lying to us because it's owned by tobacco companies. That's another fun one. Check out the documentary called The C Word. It's talking about cancer. Morgan Freeman did the narrative on it, but basically those guys are sharing with us how the tobacco companies started to get choked out, and when they did, so then they bought up the food supply, and now they've made the food supply addictive. Byproduct is an obesity pandemic. Thanks, guys. Love it. And so back to the water stuff. So in my house, I use an ionizer, and the reason I use the ionizer is because the ionizer gives me clean water. So now you got to think, though, when you start to use reverse osmosis and things like ionized water, you need to put minerals back in your water, and also we got to drink water. I don't know where this whole brain thought concept stuff came from people like, I don't drink water, it's bad for me. Who are you and why do you think that? Reevaluate some of that stuff. I'm doing this channel because I want to help people, and I want people to be able to help themselves. It's not like I'm going to come out and build your house for you, or I'm going to come out and build your survival shelter for you. No, but if we do hit a shift situation, the most important thing you're going to have is not your preps. The most important thing is your skill sets. So you got to get out there and get some skills on. I'll toss in a clip after this. Of course, Mom wasn't home the other day, but I was teaching my daughter how to start a fire from a flintlock and cotton balls on the dining room table. So dads, some fun stuff for you and the kids to do when Mom's not home. But I'll go ahead and wrap it up, keep it under the 5 minutes like I've talked about. And so train hard, train smart, and let's try to keep this country together. I'm a fourth generation military, and my heart's kind of broken with the junk. This isn't why my family made the sacrifices they did. But All right, love you guys. Keep it real. All right, what are you doing? Get the flaky on there. All right, let's see you spark it up. Remember, don't knock it around.
It's kind of hard because then I'm going.
Mm-hmm. I got it. There you go. You started your fire. Good job, kiddo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So then you can just crush it out with your fingers.